So that's not where he belongs, nor the ladies in the shelter, which I think just with the lighting, you're not going to be able to see them, but they're in there. There's one. So I don't see Biscuit and Oatmeal, but they're probably up by the water right now. We're at the four-way, to give you a clue. This is that spot that the sows keep coming to from that back paddock where they're supposed to be. Finally, this is the first time, so all week now, since they've been supposed to be back there, they've been swimming across and coming up here. So I've got a panel with me, and I'll grab some T-posts and pounder and show you what, we'll walk back there in a sec. I'm gonna try to get this panel into the gate past them while they're all nodding, sleeping around from the heat. It's pretty hot right now, but I don't want my farm sitter to have to deal with any more hassle than he has to with everyone being in the wrong spot. I was worried about them being split up, but now that Toast can swim over, worst case scenario, the farm sitter can just feed them all here and it won't be a big deal, but it'd save him some walking, even though that's not where I wanted them to be. So it's not the end of the world. It's just not the best situation. I'm gonna walk back there and let's look at that pond area. This is the back of the pond. The bank comes down. I brought that panel with me so that I didn't have to go back for it. So it goes over there and wraps around and out. And I think it's probably close to half an acre looking at the aerial maps. It's pretty low right now. Like you can see, this is up and out of the water. Normally that's underwater, where you can see the floating duck decoys are just laying on the ground back there and all the sticks. Those are from previous owner and they have still survived and hung around. But this back end, it doesn't get much deeper than like I have before when it's been about this low. You can see where it is on my boots here, and I'm a few feet in now. I can walk all the way across the back with, once in a blue moon, when it's real low like this, I don't know if it's slow enough now, I can get all the way across without it going over the top of my rubber boots. I think right now, because I tried going the other day to lead the gals over, and it was hovering right around it, and you hit one low spot, and it fills your boot, and I didn't want to do that right before work. So there's a chance that it's slow enough for that, but odds are I'm gonna get soaked here in a second, at least fill my boots with water. I'm gonna take that panel and T-posts, because what they're doing, that's the paddock they're supposed to be in, right? So they're just coming across, and there's clear footprints, hoof prints, I guess, going up that. This is where they're crossing. Biscuit has swam deeper before. Like I've seen her full out swim like a hippo when we were out kayaking on the pond here before. But the others, I've never seen them even try. They'll just stand at the bank and stare at her like she's crazy. So I think this will resolve it, right? If I put it coming off the back fence, it'll go out 16 foot into the water. We have a visitor. So if it goes out 16 foot into the water, I hope that they'll hit it and just kind of and turn around and go back. They may just walk along it and then go around and come back. Now, if that's the case and this doesn't work, what I'm going to do is I've got two halves of a cattle panel, and I'll put them coming back off of the one at an angle, kind of like the way this stick is shaped here, right? So imagine that this straight part is the cattle panel that'll come off the back fence like this, and then where that one angles back, that's what I'll do, so that they would walk up to it, hit it, and be directed back down. And then fingers crossed, don't just go like that, but that would theoretically turn them back the direction I want. And we'll see if that does it. But we're gonna try first just the single panel. Really, this goes out about half the distance is this very shallow depth. And then it just drops. You can see, maybe you can't, yeah, right there in center, that's a cattle panel. And there are two squares above the water. And it's not even a full 16 out into the water. It goes a few feet up on shore and then drops down. So, I mean, it just immediately starts sinking. So I don't think, and I've never had them swim around there, which is what I had worried they were starting to do before I realized that I'd been leaving that gate open. So yeah, we're gonna give this a go. I'll set up the tripod and we'll just continue to hope that they don't knock it over. Yeah, she's gonna make herself a wallow here and lay down in it. Oh, I don't know, it's still zoomed in. That's why that's all funky. There we go. She could just lay fully in the water. She doesn't want to. Alrighty. This is on the way back around to that corner. That was where we were at over there. I thought I'd just show you guys this real quick since we're over here and on my way back over to grab those T-posts. So this was one of our pretty big black willows up at the pond. Some of the only trees we've got are some of these big black willows around the pond here. And then, I mean, there's a diverse mix around the pond that we didn't have to plant. We've got some persimmons, which is where we get our seed stock from this little persimmon tree here. We've got a couple of hackberries here. Several mulberries around it, which is pretty common around farms in the Midwest, and then 2, maybe 3 eastern red cedars. But this is why I'm a real big proponent of coppice and pollarding. So black willows are just real brittle. They're great native species, handle a lot of rough issues, but they don't get that big before they just then start to rot and get fungal diseases and stuff. And yeah, so this big one here fell. That's a lot less shade up at the pond, whereas you could see what I just filmed, where the other pigs were laying there, oatmeal and biscuit and toast. Those trees had the multiple trunks, so those are coppice willows that are about 10 years old. They were done before we got here, probably from a similar situation to this. Bottom of the tree rotted out, fell over, and then sprouted back from the base. We'll be managing those for that. We're actually going to go through and cut the tops off those and pollard them because they're not that old. They're about the perfect trunk diameter to do so. So then they'll, massively increase the amount of shade each of those do, and they'll stay young. And then they won't ever do this, and we won't eventually, because if we leave them like this, there's a chance that they'll all eventually just die, and we won't have any nice established shade trees. You can see this one had already died and dropped off. This one has some rot issues, and it's huge. It loses branches every year. Like the thing above me's, yeah, you can see holes in it and everything, which is good for birds. So I like that, but it's gonna fall. It has fallen once before. We've drug off the branches. There's another one that's done that over here. It's where I'd filmed that intro video, and where I've got a kestrel nest box or screech owl nest box, whatever takes it up. You can see it's laying on the ground and has fallen over. This big one here is dead. It's like a bird just flew off that branch, so that it's shaking up there. So I don't want that to happen and us lose all of that shade. That one has managed to survive, but they don't always do so. Also, you can see, this is kind of funny here. So see, there's nothing on the ground here, right? Nothing. Other side of the fence. All these mulberries on the ground. Loaded. Same tree. This tree is equally loaded with mulberries. Same as both sides. Probably hard to show up on there. They're eating the heck out of these the moment they hit the ground. So, score 1 for mulberries, feeding sugar-rich protein to the piggos. So, yeah. All right, now I'm gonna go get those T-posts and not get distracted. This is gonna suck. Yeah, I really hope pigs don't knock this in the water. have a better idea. All right, I'm back with my better idea. I'll take these off since we're in the shade here. So you may be asking yourself, why do I have a problem with getting water in my boots right now? It is 94 degrees out. It's really hot. Surely that feels great. The pigs think it does. Simple answer is I still have like 4 hours maybe worth of work left to do today after I finish this project. Stepping in and out of mud and stuff. So I have to wear the rubber boots. Can't just change into my Chacos or something. And I don't really want to go slogging around in sopping wet boots, getting blisters and stuff right before we go drive up and then hike around a bunch this weekend. So yeah, I'm gonna use contractor bags and make what I refer to as redneck muck or redneck waders. The contractor bags, you can't use just normal trash bags because the contractor bags are much, much thicker, resist puncture better, and they will still puncture at some point. I used them when I put this stretch of fence across the back here, but it was like 3 or 4 things in before it punctured on a rock, because there's not really that many rocks in here, or a stick maybe on the bottom. I really don't know what punctured it. But eventually you just grind plastic into rocks and sticks, and eventually it is going to get a hole in it no matter how thick it is. But yeah, I go that route. I need to take everything out of my pockets that I might need. So the wire and the linesman's pliers, roll of electrical tape, which is what will hold them onto my legs. I think that's it. I'll leave my wallet in there, even though it may get, actually, I really don't want to fall. So we're gonna take it out, set it to the side, and just hope, mind you, that I remember to grab it. I'm setting it outside the fence. Oh, and I'll set my phone case with it, that'll help. There. Now it'll be much harder to forget the wallet. All right. I am folding the bottom up a little because I don't need the full height. That'll create an extra thick space, and then running the electrical tape around that way. Might also be asking why I don't just own a pair of waders. I should buy a pair of waders. One day I will buy a pair of waders. And I don't work in the pond that much, so we do have a bunch of koi in here I should probably attempt to catch. I'd love to stock with something other than the koi in here. We've slowly been stocking with some bluegill when we fish, but some other folks' ponds, but I don't know. Also, yes, duct tape would work better than electrical tape. I just still have not bought another roll of duct tape. All right, we'll give them a test out. Toss that electrical tape over there with my wallet and phone case. I'm gonna take the pliers. I've got a little bit of pocket still available up top here. They don't go all the way up. and hope these don't just move down my legs. Okay, so we got some holes. There is indeed some water in the bottom, but nowhere near as much. And it seems like it's keeping it mostly out of my shoes. I think my socks are a little wet. I'm launching water. This may have been a waste of my time. Oh well, project goes on. I tried. Okay, they're very full of water now. They did not work as much as I remembered. Still looks like I'm working the rest of the day with wet boots. But let's pull you off the pivot here. All right, so there it is. That gets it to where it's, you know, that's about a 5 foot tall panel, 52 inches, so not quite 5 foot, pretty close. Cross my fingers, that one's, it's about halfway in on the other side. You can see where it slopes down. If that doesn't do it, I'll either try the 2 V's or try adding another panel going further out. I'll definitely get waders for that though. That's the route I go. All right, cross my fingers. Y'all cross yours for me too, okay?